Welcome back to Beautifully Grounded. I know there are a lot of questions like,
where has she been? Why hasn't she been posting? Doesn't she know there's an algorithm? I needed more information. Like, where has she been?
yeah, but I, you know, where have I been? So I haven't posted in 2 weeks, and YouTube has this whole thing where they have an algorithm where if you don't post so often or whatever, things don't get seen. But you know what? I'm not really worried about it. Like, yes, of course, I want to do YouTube and do all of these things and make this more of a full-time thing, but I also am at a point where I just do things when it feels right for me. And I'm not gonna lie, for the last 2 weeks, it just hasn't been calling to me. I haven't felt the need to do it, and it just hasn't felt right for me to record until now. So here we are. I'm gonna explain what's been going on, and hopefully you'll get a good idea of what I've been going through. So let's get right into it. So like I said, I haven't been posting. I haven't posted for the last 2 weeks, and I've actually been taking a break from social media also because I had a lot going on recently. So we're gonna dive deep into that because like I said, this is an open space. So I'm gonna go ahead and give you guys all the details and tell you what's been going on. One of the reasons that I have not been posting is because a lot lately I feel like, how many of you guys are control freaks? How many of you like to do things when you want to do them and how you want to do them, and you want people there on your time and da 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 da? Well, that is me. And so for me, it was really hard because doing a business and being an entrepreneur and things like that, you can't really control um, like everything right away. Like starting and building, you have to wait for your clientele to grow. You have to wait. It's not very consistent in the beginning until you kind of have the time to make it consistent. So for me, being the control person that I am, the fact that clientele doesn't come as often as I would like, I felt like, oh, am I doing it right? Am I doing this right? Am I supposed to be doing this? Is this what I really want to do? All of these different questions came up, all these different doubts came up, and me being the person I am, normally before I started my journey, I would have just been like, nope, this isn't what I'm supposed to do, and I would have gave up. However, now being on a spiritual journey, I know that I have to really pay attention to my own emotions and feelings and really figure out where they're coming from and why I am feeling that way. So I was having a lot of issues with self-doubt and things like that coming up for me, and then I just didn't want to post and kind of put on a front for everybody else and act like everything was okay when I knew it wasn't. I always want to make sure that I'm good first. That way I'm not putting on a persona for everybody else. I want everybody else to get the most authentic parts of me and really like, this is for my journey, so I'm going to give you every ugly detail of my journey. The point of this video today, if you can see from the title, is pain body. What is a pain body? How does it work? How did I learn about it? How do I work with it? All of those great things. So I'm going to start with what is the pain body. So I've already mentioned in a few of my previous videos, you should definitely check those out if you're new to my channel, but I have mentioned that we are not just a physical form. We have our physical, spiritual, emotional, mental, we have all these different forms that makes up us as a whole. So your pain body is that part of you that holds all the emotions, all of the feelings, all of the negative thoughts and feelings and all the pain and stuff that you went through. Is literally your pain body. What the pain body does is, great example, have you ever seen somebody go to the end of a diving board, look like they're ready, talk a lot of stuff and say they're ready, and then get to the end of the diving board and all of a sudden just, nope, never mind, I'm gonna back up, backpedal? And we see that often. That's just a minor example, but how many times have you wanted to do something? Yes, you wanted to do something, and right before you get to doing that, or right before you get to achieving that, you experience this mood change. Like it's something you've been so excited for, you've been so happy for, and then all of a sudden all of these feelings come up about it, or even physical pain. I am going to get more into that too, but like physical pains or just emotional pains or just different things come up for you that make you really second guess it or really just backpedal into your old way. So for me, The pain body is that part of you that holds on to a lot of dark, deep things that we don't really face. We kind of push back, kind of like our shadows, but this is just dealing with the emotions. And so that's what the pain body is. And what I wanted to make sure that I make clear is that the pain body is not just like sadness and like physical pain. Sometimes it can come up in different forms. So sometimes it can come as anger, sometimes it can come like in those little comments that people make. Like deep down, we have a desire to see other people fail. Whether people like to believe it or not, sometimes in certain situations we all have this little deep dark side of us that comes out sometimes. If you've ever gotten into a really bad argument and you think back later and you're like, why did I say that? I didn't even mean it like that. I was just angry. It just came in the heat of the moment. That was your pain body reacting to the situation. It's very unconscious. The pain body isn't something that you think about. And when I say unconscious, if you haven't watched my previous videos, we have our unconscious and our conscious mind. Our conscious mind is our thinking mind, the one that we think with and we act on and things like that.
And
The unconscious mind is things that we do without thinking. So breathing is unconscious. We just breathe. You don't have to think about it. Blinking is unconscious. We just do it. It's not something we think about. The pain body is unconscious, and it comes up in times when there is a opening between our unconscious and our conscious mind where it can come through, where we're not fully thinking, we're just acting. And so it comes through in those moments, and sometimes we don't realize it, especially if you're not very attentive to things that are going on now, if you're not very what's the word I'm thinking of, if you're not very conscious, basically, if you don't really pay attention to sometimes your actions. And if you're one of those people that people tell you like, oh, you really be spazzing out, or you really be tripping sometimes, like for no reason, or you go from happy to really sad 1 minute and you may not realize it, but other people tell you about it, then you're not very conscious of your feelings and your emotions. And so the pain body comes through very unconscious, and it just happens sometimes. And it comes up when it has that little moment of vulnerability where you have very strong emotions. And so for me, my example that I can give for myself, because this is going to be mainly about my journey, but just to give you guys an example, for me, I have been going through a lot of changes lately. If you can tell, the background is different. A lot of things are different because we just moved into a new place. Everything with work has been going great. A lot of things have been going great. But with this home, I'd say the week before moving in, I was so excited. I was like, yes, I'm so excited. We're gonna have our own place again. We're gonna have more space. I'm gonna have more time to do things that I wanna do. I'm gonna have the freedom to do things that I wanna do. And I'm just gonna be in a better space all over. So the whole week before, it was
This amazing.
but it was like the week of moving, I just would pick at every little thing, and I didn't understand why. I'm not gonna lie, I had no idea why. I would pick it. I came in, I was angry, not angry, but I felt some type of way about the outlets. I felt some type of way about like every little thing, and it was just like why are you acting like this? Like, it's not even that big of a deal. And a lot of time our pain body will come through as something, it will be something very small, and we make a very big deal about it. If you have those moments where you're like, it was just the freaking cap on the toothpaste and I act like he murdered somebody or something like that, that's your pain body like reacting without you even realizing it. So for me, I was nitpicking at every little thing in my new home. I was just making big deals out of stuff that wasn't that big of a deal, and I didn't understand why for a little bit. And then that's when I decided, like, okay, I want to take a break from social media. I want to take a break from doing readings because I'm not feeling it personally. And another great thing about my spiritual journey is that, like I said, I do things when they feel right for me. And for the first time ever, I didn't feel bad when I said, like, no, I'm not doing readings. Or when people ask me, I'm like, oh, I'm taking a break right now. I don't feel bad because that is what feels right for me, and I can't live off of what everybody else expects or I'll go crazy. Once we moved in, like I said, I was nitpicking at everything. I decided to take a break from social media, and what that allowed me to do is be more present. And when I say be more present, how often have you been driving home and you get home and then you realize, like,
How did I get here?
that is a state of being very, like, unconscious, unaware of the things that are going on around you. And a lot of times that happens to a lot of us. We're kind of all walking around in this trance of like being here but not really being here sometimes. How often do you talk to someone and you're looking dead at them and then realize you didn't hear a thing that they said? We are all in this little trance and we all are very unaware of the things that are going on around us, and that really affects us and it really hurts us in the long run because we aren't able to pay attention to ourselves, not just the things around us but to ourselves in general. So taking this break from social media and YouTube has allowed me to just kind of sit in my thoughts and really sit and see why I'm feeling these things and pay attention to things going on around me. And I can let you know that for me, how I started to become more present is stopping myself before I react, or even if I do react first, I still stop and really think about, like, well, why did I say that? Why do I feel this way? And sometimes people say, oh,
Well, spiritual people always think that there's a reason for everything, and they're always overanalyzing, and they do this and they do that, blah, 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 whatever.
yes, I do overanalyze because when you don't overanalyze, and I don't mean that I'm doing it like hectically, like, oh my gosh, what is going on, da, 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 da. No, but I do it consciously, and I make sure that I'm really paying attention to what's going on, because a lot of times if we don't, then it turns into something bigger than it needs to be. So for me, once I took the break and everything and I really started paying attention to what was going on, I started recognizing little things around me where I was like, why are you tripping over that? Like, for example, we went to a pawn shop just to look at TVs and see if we could find something, because you know me, I'm all about a bargain. But we went to go look and see if we seen some stuff, and we seen a couple in there. I didn't pay attention to it, but because I wasn't on social media, I actually was paying attention to what was around me, so I did see them. And then we went to that's going in the video. You should have seen my face when I seen your message. You finna go? Why you walk all the way around like it's they can't see you. You gonna come say hi? Oh, back to what I was saying. So we seen the couple in the pawn shop, and then we went to Walgreens afterwards to get some stuff from the house. I wanted some stuff from Walgreens. We ain't gonna talk about what. We seen the same couple with their kid at the Walgreens getting their kid something from the pharmacy, and it kind of was like, when you are more conscious of the things that are going around you, you kind of can connect things and kind of receive. It's really up to you. A lot of people say, oh, you're just making things up from the things that you see, but I mean, that's your opinion. For me, I recognize messages, I recognize signs, I recognize synchronicities that go on around me, and I do that for a reason, because a lot of times there are messages that we miss from our spirit guides, from our ancestors, from the universe, that we need to see. So for me, when I seen that, I was like, I see the message, I get it, because I could be in that situation. I'm not being appreciative of the things that I have right now. This new place was a blessing for me, and so I wasn't being appreciative. That was one thing that came up for me. And the next thing, the same exact day, we went to eat, to get something to eat, and there was a man there doing an interview with his kid in his arms. And it's like, why are you making a big deal of the smallest things in your new place? Why? Like, where is this coming from? So I had to really sit back and be like, okay, well, I need to work on this and see where this is coming from for me. And I really realized where it was coming from. For me, where this was coming from for me, like I said, this is my journey. This is very personal to me. It won't connect with everybody, but maybe there are things that you can do to recognize sometimes the things that come up for you. And when I said earlier about the physical pain, I started also getting very bad migraines once we got here, and it was just because I was kind of stressing myself out and overworking myself and things like that. But once I really sat and thought about it, I was like, okay, where is this coming from? Why are you feeling this way? And I am in a course which you all already know. It's the one I won. If you watched my previous video, you know about it. But I am in this course, and the week that everything started for me when we moved in here, I didn't do the lesson because I was just like, I'm not even in the right mindset. I'm not in the right place. I don't feel like doing it, honestly. And so I didn't. And once I finally listened to it and I felt like I was ready to listen to it, it made so much sense because that week was about the pain body, and it made so much sense to me because it was saying how our body, whenever we want something in life, whenever we want to do something in life, we have to be energetically aligned to it as well as physically aligned to it. So even though we're putting in the action and doing things, sometimes energetically we're not ready for that change, if that makes sense. So for example, if you say you want $1 million, you say you want $1 million, and physically you know you want $1 million, but energetically you've never experienced that. So it's like, how can I align myself with that big of a jump? If you are making 10,000 a month, which is decent money, and then you want to go to a million, it's like, okay, baby steps. Come on now, you can't just go from 10,000 straight to a million because it's like you haven't experienced that big of a change, and you can't see that big of a change yet. And even if you don't want to go into the money side of it, it's like, if all you've known is, it's like learning something new. It's like you can't just go from counting from 1 to 10 all the way to 100 the same day, unless you just sit and constantly do it all day long. You don't go, okay, we're gonna learn 1 through 10, and then tomorrow you're gonna be at 100. It's like, no, you have to baby steps. We're working our way up to that. And so therefore for me, with this change, with moving into the space that we are in, for me it was a lot of change because I didn't second guess myself on applying for this place. I didn't second guess myself on if I can afford it. I didn't do any of that this time. For the first time in my life, like I said, I'm a control freak. I didn't want to control the situation. I just let whatever happen, and it all kind of worked out for itself. And so, because I really didn't feel like I had much control, once we got here, it was like my energy hadn't aligned to this place yet. My energy wasn't accepting of this place yet because I'm so used to where we were. And if that doesn't make sense, the best way I can put it is if you see somebody who's going through the same cycle over and over and over, whether it be in a bad relationship or a financial situation, if they keep going over and over in the same situation, it's because energetically they're not able to align to things that they want. And when that pain body comes through, whether it be in physical, as mine was in migraines and everything like that, or just emotional, where you feel like your mood is going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, or you feel like all of a sudden you're depressed, even though 10 minutes ago you were as happy as can be, what that pain body is doing is being like, okay, I'm not comfortable here. Yeah, I want to be in a better space, but energetically I wasn't comfortable. This is all so new to me that my pain body is coming forward, trying to push me back into my old habits and my old ways and my old way of living and things like that, of being in that financial bind, because that's kind of all I've ever known. You have to do when you recognize that you have this pain body coming forward, however it is coming forward, in whatever situation it is coming forward. I have seen people go in really bad relationships, and the reason they keep going back is because it's kind of like that's all they know. And you kind of get into sync with that, and once your body is in sync with that, that pain body will come forward and be like, oh no, we can't do anything differently. This is all we know. And so once you recognize that and once you see that happening, then you have the option to be like, okay, I see that happening and I'm not going to let it happen anymore. I recognize that. I see that as a part of me. And when you recognize things like this, when you recognize shadows, when you recognize your pain body coming through, you don't judge it. You don't say, oh, like, that ain't me. Like, I don't see why this coming through. This don't make no sense. No. You have to really be able to accept it and hold space. And when I say hold space, I mean that is just giving that shadow or giving that pain body the floor to see it, hear it, recognize it, feel it, not just disregard it, but feel it, and then you will be able to recognize that as a part of you. Even though it is a part of you, it is not you no longer. And you're like, okay, no, we finna make this change. This is where we are now. So I'm gonna need you to catch up and get along with it, because this is what it is now. I literally had to just be in my home and be in my space and be like, I really do love this space. I really do appreciate this space. I am really happy here. And once I was able to do that, the migraine stopped. The pettiness around the smallest things in the house stopped. All of the things that were kind of pushing me back just went away. And it won't happen like that for everybody. Like I said, this is very personal to me. And for me, I have put in a lot of work when it comes to shadow work and really being able and being conscious enough to recognize my pain body, because a lot of times we don't recognize it. A lot of times it comes out and it feeds off of others. So if you have another negative person around you whose pain body is always coming forward and always very snappy, sometimes you can react off of that, and then it's kind of like two dogs going at it. So for me, it was not easy at all. Like I said, it took 2 weeks for me to really work through every part of this, but it was something that I was able to do because I was consciously able to recognize that. A lot of people don't know about this, and a lot of people don't have the knowledge of it, and some people don't really understand the concept. And that's why I wanted to do my journey, because that way everybody can at least have knowledge of it and know about it, because we don't, and we don't pay attention to it a lot of times, and that sucks. And then we end up going in this same cycle. If you are a person who feels like every however long your cycle is, for us, for me and my husband, it was like a year cycle. Like every year around August, it felt like things would just go backwards. And for the first time in 4 years since we've been together, it feels like everything's moving forward, because we were kind of stuck in this cycle, and we would have our pain bodies like having us go at it, and then having us doubting things and not going forward with projects and things like that, because we doubted ourselves, because our pain body would come forward. It's in a form of, for me, a lot of depression, a lot of anxiety. Like I said, migraines would stop me from doing a lot of things, and it was just like a lot of things would come up for us. And ours was like a year cycle. Every year it would be the same thing over and over again. We would go up, 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 then fall down and fall backwards and have to start all over again, and then go up, 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 up every year. And if you know me personally and you've been around, if you're family or anything, then you definitely know what I'm talking about. So the fact that I'm able to acknowledge this now has been just really amazing, and really helped me work through a lot of the things that I was going through. If you would like more information on how to become more conscious, or steps to becoming conscious, and like little things that you can do to really start paying attention to your actions, your emotions, and your feelings, I will definitely be making a video about that. Make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe, all of those great things. Turn on the notifications, and I will be starting a Facebook group hopefully soon. Let me know if you would be interested in that, because I would love to add you to it. This Facebook group will be for people who are interested in witchcraft or spirituality in itself, wants to know more. It's going to be a space for everybody to be open, and no judgment, no shaming or anything like that. And that way I can have a group of people who are like-minded and are interested in the same things. I hope you all enjoy. Let me know if you have any questions. Leave comments, and like always, you can follow me on Facebook at Beautifully Grounded, and on Instagram at Grounded Beautifully. Stay grounded and make today beautiful, loves.